Here's a video that I've been wanting to put up for a while, and something that even before making instruments I was very passionate about was making different type of period type garments. And since I'm into very much into the Mexica culture, before I was more into what would be like a mountain man type, and which is kind of based on a lot of Native American type regalia making. So I've based a lot of my kind of work on different type of skills that I've learned along the way for almost 20 years now, about 17, 18 years doing this kind of work. So I'm going to kind of explain a little bit about materials, the process. It's probably going to be a series of videos. This is actually a panel of the side of a kopiri headdress that I'm going to be making in the next, hopefully, few couple months. So it's been a work in progress that I've been kind of wanting to finish up here. So once this is all filled in with feathers, I have an example of that. So this is the second half. So when you put that together, it'll look something a little like this. So up here at the top is where the feathers would be. Up here towards the top. And my face would be here. That would kind of frame my face here. And all alongside here there'll be pockets where long feathers will go, or I don't know what type of feathers I'm going to put here on the side, that will extend out probably to about here on each side. So it's a very meticulous process if you want to do it this way. The reason I'm sharing it is because I'm hoping that more and more people, especially Aztec dancers, people who represent the culture, dress up and do it in a way that is as authentic as possible, and that represents the people in the best ways possible. So I'm going to go through this, kind of explaining a little bit here about the colors and do a close-up. So even through this first kind of view here, you can kind of see a how to and how not to do the feather work. So if you look here at first yellow, the glue I was using wasn't kind of the best, greatest that I probably should have been using, so it didn't do too well. Kind of seeped through in a way. I don't know if you can see so much there, but over here you can tell it's much more feathery, less kind of faded there. So ideally what I have here are solid feathers, colors. Like here we have yellow, and then orange, and then a red, and then different greens, and going from the bottom, the green, those are parrot feathers, and two different colors, a dark color, something like this that I'd have here, and then a lighter feather that sometimes is kind of iridescent, like that on the other side. And then the yellow, so those are feathers from, I believe one is from a Myers parrot, and the other one might be from like a green wing or a military macaw, I'm not sure. Going up from the yellow and the orange are conure feathers. This is the orange view there, kind of an orangish yellow transition. So those conure feathers come in those two different colors, so I try to fade it there in a way. And then the next color I have there, which is more of a fire red orange, is a scarlet macaw, kind of breast or head area feather. And then up at the top, the deep red is from a green wing macaw feather. So here you see that again, and there. And you notice it's kind of as I got used to the glue that I needed to use. You can see kind of where my work kind of improved there. And here what I'm trying to do is kind of create that graduated color effect, kind of from starting from a deep red to a red orange to an orange to a yellow to a light green to a green. There you can see after a while, kind of as I started to use a glue, I was kind of maybe using it in excess there, getting a little carried away. That's what kind of happened there. But as I kind of went along, kind of get the hang of it there. There you can see the colors coming together. So my background is going to be like a fire-ish, kind of from this way on. That's my background color. And I have highlights in green because I wear jade necklaces usually, and I want to kind of stand out with the jade. So viewing it from here, you can see here where there's no beadwork to separate the graduated wash there of feathers, and there on the wing. Goes into there. Okay. So up close you can see the feathers, how small they are. Usually about like that or smaller. It's really what I'm putting on there. So you can tell. It's very tempting to try to go bigger and start laying down whole feathers like that. I'm going to get into laying down the feathers in a while, but it's really tempting to do that without cutting the ends off. But the work really, in my opinion, is going to turn out different, not as detailed if you try to cut corners and use big pieces of feathers. So I'll go through that. So that's kind of one side finished. And here it's back to the work in progress. So one thing about materials is that ever since I started kind of from that mountain man tradition, Native American, which is much Native American based, since they learned from the natives how to survive in that land. But the brain tan for the base is kind of the way to go always. This is a hide I think I tanned myself a while back, but it's a little more expensive. You might be able to find, if you look up on eBay, brain tan hides, and you can see the commercial ones and the real brain tan hides. I would recommend only using real brain tan hides. You probably have to look into getting the real thing and looking on eBay to make sure it's the real thing, and read the captions carefully. But in my opinion, nothing else, especially the glue that I use, sticks to anything is good. I've tried many other things, and I'm going to kind of get into what I'm used. So first is the base, which is a brain tan hide, and this is the hair side out. So it's not like a commercial tan where the fluff you can use it on the out. So this is kind of the way that the deer would wear its skin. So the intention is to wear it in the same direction. So the fluff on the brain tan creates the fibers, so that once the glue and the feather connect, it kind of almost creates that synthetic type of bond, almost like a bird's skin, in my opinion, the closest thing. And so what I've been using is, it's kind of confusing here because I've got more, and one says it's a Loctite brand, one super glue, one says control gel, the other one says gel control. So this is the newer one I got, and I was hoping that it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So just a little bit different. So that type of glue specifically, I've tried many different types of glues, and that's kind of the one, in my opinion, that is the one to use. So this first video will probably be an intro to explain a little bit of background, and I'll do another video on laying down the feathers. So basically, I also want to mention about the beadwork. When you bead, the stitch I'm using is often called 2-needle applique beadwork, because I use 2 needles, one to string the beads on as an outline, and then another one to kind of tack them down. And I like using that one because you can get the most kind of ability to do curves. Some people call it a traditional stitch. Use 2 needles to make it nice and flat. I'd recommend putting paper bag in the back, so that way it stays nice and flat. Otherwise your beadwork's gonna curl up. So a lot of different reasons to use that brain tan hide, kind of for durability. It'll resist probably with water a little bit better. Some people say that's a myth, but I've noticed that things just seem to last so much longer with brain tan hides. So doing the outline, if you look up on YouTube, beading, how to bead applique beadwork, I believe is the title. There's a guy that does a pretty good job at explaining this, how to do that stitch. So see. My feathers I get from eBay, or getting them from different powwows or get-togethers or ceremonies that people have. I try to get the colorful conure and macaw feathers and use those. The smaller the better. So there's the glue, the background that I would suggest, and kind of the idea also is painting with feathers, kind of getting that graduated effect, being able to use different colors and symbols that would be traditional to this type of regalia. So the reason I'm using beads and feathers is because towards the end of the we would say Mexica, people's dwelling there in Tenochtitlan, the ceremonial wear was often feather mosaic regalia, and a lot of different shields, are different examples. I was actually fortunate enough to get 3 credits of undergraduate credit through San Jose State under Leroy Parker, who I presented him an idea of doing 3 units of research on Aztec feather mosaic art, and he took me up on my request to do those 3 units, and I did a shield that I had back then, and I'm very grateful for him giving me the opportunity to kind of do a paper and do a shield as an example. And so the next couple videos that I'm going to post are going to have to do with laying down the feathers, and kind of going more into the kind of design and overall process of doing this feather mosaic Mexica art. This is kind of the beginning. This is the headpiece to the rest of the regalia that I also plan to make with the rest of the pieces that go. So look out for my next videos on how to lay down these feathers.